helps you wake and manage stress, normally peaks in the morning and drops at night. When studies find a flattened cortisol curve, lower morning peaks and higher evening levels, that pattern is linked with greater inflammation, disrupted sleep, and markers of accelerated biological aging. In practical terms, track how you feel in the first 2 hours after waking for several days. Small interventions that may help include consistent wake times, bright light exposure first thing, go outside, even 5 minutes, and a short morning routine that doesn't start with email or doom scrolling. These habits help reset your circadian rhythm, and better circadian regulation is associated with healthier metabolic and inflammatory profiles. Think of this as giving your engine a reliable ignition sequence, simple, repeatable cues that coax hormones back into rhythm. Número 4. Persistente barriga e alta taxa de insulina em jejum. Imagine seu metabolismo como uma caixa. Quando ela escorrega, energia fica armazenada onde não devia. Em crescimento de gordura visceral e alta taxa de insulina sugerem insulina resistência. E insulina resistência está tiltly associated with faster cellular aging in many studies. Não é só sobre aparência. O sinal hormonal aqui, cronicamente elevada insulina, interfere com processos de reparo e inflamação controle. Evidência de epidemiologia e clinical trials linka melhor sensibilidade com insulina com mais marcadores de saúde longidas, bora com o estento variar. Práticas medidas, priorizar um café da manhã proteico, adicionar treinamento de resistência 2 vezes por semana para preservar músculo e reduzir grandes lanches tardes em carbos. Se você tem uma história familiar de diabetes ou metabolic syndrome, confira taxas de glicose e insulina com seu clínico e discuta estratégias. Pequenas mudanças, 5 minutos de treinamento de resistência a parar seu carro, substituir um refrigerante por água, podem fazer a caixa girar mais suavemente e reduzir o incentivo ao acelerar o envelhecimento. Número 3. Baixa libido e perda de desejo, ligadas à queda das sexo-hormônios. Libido é mais do que desejo, é um sinal de sexo-hormônios, testosterona em homens e estrógeno e progesterona balança, que suportam músculo, ossos, mudo e metabólica saúde. When those hormones decline outside expected life stages, research shows associations with reduced muscle mass, lower bone density, and worse metabolic markers, factors that contribute to faster aging. Studies find that maintaining healthy sex hormone levels, when appropriate and guided by clinicians, corresponds with better functional outcomes, though hormone therapy isn't right for everyone. Practical tip: get a baseline check if your sex drive has dropped suddenly or dramatically. Simple blood tests can clarify levels and point to reversible causes like thyroid issues, vitamin D deficiency, or chronic stress. Strength training, adequate sleep, and ensuring you're getting enough dietary fat and protein all support healthy hormone production. Treat this sign like a dashboard light. It tells you to check the systems rather than assume the worst. Number 2, trouble recovering from workouts and constant muscle soreness. Think of your body's recovery system as a reset button that should click between bouts of effort. Growth hormone and its partner IGF-1 play big roles in tissue repair, sleep architecture, and maintaining lean mass. When recovery stalls, lingering soreness, poor gains despite training, or fragile sleep, you may be seeing a functional drop in these repair pathways. Research links lower IGF-1 signaling with frailty and reduced resilience as people age, although the picture is complex. Too much IGF-1 in some contexts can be harmful. Practical steps I suggest: prioritize deep sleep, dark room, cool temperature, no screens before bed. Include a weekly dose of high-quality protein timed around workouts, and use progressive overload, but build rest days into your schedule. Think of hormetic stress, short, controlled challenges like resistance training, as a maintenance burn that helps flip the reset button without exhausting the system. Number 1, persistent fatigue, brain fog, and shifting mood linked to thyroid or cortisol dysfunction. This is the capstone sign because when the systems that regulate energy and mood wobble, multiple aging pathways feel the effect. The thyroid acts like a thermostat for cellular metabolism. Mild hypothyroid patterns slow processes, including mitochondrial function. Meanwhile, chronic stress elevates cortisol in ways that impair sleep, reduce hippocampal resilience, and blunt neurotrophic factors like BDNF, which keeps neurons nimble. Studies associate disrupted thyroid function and chronic stress with shorter telomeres, higher inflammation, and cognitive decline markers, signals of biological aging. Practical approach: ask your clinician for a full panel if you've had months of unexplained fatigue, weight change, or mood shifts. Simple blood work can reveal thyroid hormone levels, fasting cortisol patterns, or other contributors. At home, fold in stress buffering routines, 10 minutes of focused breathing, regular movement, social time, and adopt a low caffeine window to protect sleep. Addressing this sign rewires systems that affect the whole body. Think of it as recalibrating both the thermostat and the engine control unit so energy flows more naturally. Along the way, someone asked me, how will I even know this is hormonal and not just being tired? I told them, start with a short map, symptom pattern, basic labs, and small behavior changes for 4 to 6 weeks. We don't chase miracles, we look for signals and act on things that safely move the needle. For example, if your sleep improves after cutting late-night screens and your morning energy returns, that's useful feedback. If fatigue persists despite sensible lifestyle shifts, that's when clinical evaluation matters. What ties these 5 signs together is a common language. Hormones regulate repair, inflammation, metabolism, and brain resilience. When they fall out of their natural rhythms, too much cortisol at night, too little sex hormone support, impaired insulin signaling, sluggish thyroid, or blunted growth repair signals, the result is a cascade that accelerates markers linked to aging. Research rarely promises certainty, but large cohorts and clinical studies repeatedly show that improving these hormonal patterns often correlates with better function, lower inflammation, and indicators of slower biological aging. Before I wrap up, a quick safety note: none of this is medical advice. If you suspect a hormone imbalance, get evaluated by a healthcare professional before starting hormone treatments or making major changes. The steps I'm suggesting are low risk: consistent sleep and light, resistance training, protein at meals, small stress buffering routines, and routine lab checks when indicated. Here's a simple weekly plan you can start Monday. Set a fixed wake time and spend 5 minutes outside. Add 2 short resistance sessions of 20 to 30 minutes. Prioritize a protein-rich breakfast and 1 extra vegetable at lunch. Practice 10 minutes of breathing or a walk after dinner. And if fatigue persists, schedule a basic lab panel with your clinician. Small repetitions build rhythms back into your hormones. If this breakdown helped you spot a pattern in your own life, let me know which sign resonated most in the comments. Did the blunted morning energy ring true, or was it the stubborn belly fat? If you want more practical walkthroughs, how to ask your doctor for the right tests, a beginner's resistance plan, or a sleep-friendly evening routine, subscribe, give this video a like, and I'll make those next. Thanks for listening, and remember, hormones are signals, not verdicts. With consistent small habits, you can steer them toward better resilience. If you want the practical how-tos, here are concrete steps you can use tomorrow, written so you can copy them into a message or print them before a clinic visit. Guia de estilo e instruções para a síntese de fala. Você é um narrador, palestrante com voz potente, forte e autoritária. O tom deve ser firme e inabalável. Contexto de continuidade. A frase anterior era ou a message or print them before a clinic visit. Você está no meio de uma frase-pensamento. Mantenha o ritmo e a força vocal sem quebrar a conexão. Haja como se estivesse transmitindo uma verdade fundamental. How to ask your clinician, a short script and what to bring. Open with symptoms and timeline. Over the last 6 months, I've had persistent fatigue, brain fog, weight changes, and sleep disruption that haven't improved with lifestyle tweaks. I'd like a basic hormonal/metabolic screen to help rule out common contributors. Bring a 1-page symptom timeline, sleep times, energy highs, lows, recent weight change, mood shifts, medications, supplements, and any recent illnesses or major life stressors. This saves time and makes your case clearer. Ask specifically for these initial tests. Your clinician may adapt based on sex, age, and history. Thyroid, TSH, free T4, free T3, anti-TPO if autoimmune suspected, adrenal/cortisol, morning serum cortisol, and consider salivary diurnal cortisol sampling if doctor supports it, or a clinician-guided cortisol rhythm assessment. Metabolic, fasting glucose, fasting insulin, HbA1c, lipid panel. Inflammation/repair, HSCRP. Sex hormones, as indicated by age, sex, symptoms, total testosterone, estradiol, SHBG, progesterone. Timed tests may be needed. Optional when clinically indicated. DHEAS, vitamin D, ferritin, CBC, comprehensive metabolic panel. Ask for interpretation and next steps. If anything looks off, can we discuss cause and treatment options or refer to endocrinology? If the clinician resists testing, ask what minimal screen they'd recommend and why. This opens a collaborative conversation rather than a dead end. Safety note: don't start hormone replacement without clear testing and supervision. Beginner resistance plan you can do twice a week. Goal: build strength signaling without overtaxing recovery. 2 short sessions a week protect hormones and increase muscle stimulus, which supports insulin sensitivity and metabolic rate. Structure: 20-30 minutes each. Warm-up: 5 minutes, brisk walk, arm circles, bodyweight lunges. Compound movements, 3-4 exercises. Choose one from each category: squat, hinge, push, plus a core move. Example session A: goblet squat or bodyweight squat. 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Push-ups, knees or incline if needed. 3 to 6 to 12. Dumbbell or band row, 3 to 8 to 12. Plank, 3 to 20 to 45 seconds. Example session B: Romanian deadlift, dumbbell or hip hinge, 3 to 8 to 12. Overhead press, dumbbell or band, 3 to 8 to 12. Split squat or step up, 3 to 8 to 12 each leg. Dead bug or side plank, 3 to 20 to 40 seconds. Progression: increase load, heavier dumbbell, add a rep, or reduce rest every 2 to 3 weeks. Recovery: prioritize protein, 20-30 grams within an hour of training, sleep, and at least 1 full rest day between sessions. Nutrition basics tied to hormone support. Protein at each meal. Aim for roughly 20-40 grams depending on needs. This helps preserve lean mass and supports repair. Fiber and vegetables at lunch and dinner to support metabolic health.
Guia de estilo e instruções para a síntese de fala. Você é um narrador, palestrante com voz potente, forte e autoritária. O tom deve ser firme e inabalável. Contexto de continuidade. A frase anterior era "Let's get lunch dinner to support metabolic health". Você está no meio de uma frase ou pensamento. Mantenha o ritmo e a força vocal sem quebrar a conexão. Haja como se estivesse transmitindo uma verdade fundamental. Next, moderate evening carbohydrates if they help sleep, but avoid caffeine in the late afternoon evening. Hydrate steadily. Avoid large alcohol intake near bedtime. Sleep-friendly evening routine, a simple checklist. Fixed wake time and a target bedtime window to stabilize circadian rhythm. Light exposure early, 5 to 10 minutes outside within 30 to 60 minutes of waking. 2-hour wind down, dim lights, reduce stimulating screens, no heavy exercise right before bed. Bedroom environment, cool, dark, quiet. Consider an eye mask or white noise if needed. A short ritual, 10 minutes of reading, light stretch, or breathing practice to signal downregulation. Avoid caffeine after the early afternoon. Limit alcohol close to bedtime. What to watch for? Simple feedback markers. Morning energy and clarity, subjective, but consistent changes matter. Weight trend and waist girth, weekly check, same conditions. Sleep quality, time to fall asleep, number of awakenings, refreshment on waking. If available, resting heart rate or HRV trends can reflect recovery state, but don't obsess over single days. A sample micro plan for the first 4 weeks. Week 1, fixed wake time, 5 minutes outside each morning, 2 20-minute resistance sessions, non-consecutive days, protein at breakfast, nightly 10-minute breathing routine. Weeks 2 to 4, keep the pattern, add 1 extra vegetable daily, increase resistance load modestly each week, and, if fatigue persists, book the lab panel with your clinician. Closing practical notes. Small, consistent changes compound. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Pick 1 habit this week, wake time, a single resistance session, or the sleep ritual, and make it non-negotiable. If labs reveal an abnormality, work with a clinician to prioritize interventions. Not every abnormality requires medication, but many benefit from targeted lifestyle plus medical guidance. If you want, I'll break down how to interpret common lab patterns, what a low-free T3 typically suggests, or how fasting insulin guides next steps, and I'll record a guided beginner resistance session you can follow. Drop which of those you want most in the comments and tell me which habit you'll start Monday. Remember, these are practical, low-risk steps to nudge hormonal rhythms back toward resilience. They are not replacements for medical evaluation when needed. Try one small thing this week, track how you feel, and build from there. Great! Since you asked, here are 2 practical follow-ups you can pick from or ask for both. 1. How to read common lab patterns and what they typically suggest, and 2. A short recorded style script for a guided beginner resistance session you can follow at home. Below, I'll cover the most common panels and patterns, what they often mean in plain language, and simple first steps you can take or discuss with your clinician. Como interpretar comuns lab patterns, plain, practical. Thyroid panel, TSH, free T4, free T3, reverse T3 if measured. Padrão, normal TSH, low free T3. O que often suggests redução periférica de T4, T3. Causas incluem caloria restritiva, recente enfermidade ou estresse, inflamação ou crônica dieta. Não sempre thyroid disease que requer reposição. Primeiros passos: enxergue calorias e proteínas, melhore sono e recuperação, cheque ferritina e vitamina D. Baixo ferro ou D podem ablandar função tireoideia. Discuta com clinician. Padrão:
Alto TSH Low Free T4, típico de hipotiroidismo primário, referência para endocrinologia ou primária care para avaliação de terapia de reposição é razoável. Padrão, normal labs, mas sintomas persistem. Considere lifestyle drivers primeiro reversíveis, sono, energia disponível, inflamação e repita a testagem em condições estáveis antes de decisões maiores. Hormônios sexuais, homens, total testosterona, free testosterona ou calculado free T, SHB, mulheres, total T, estradiol, LH, FSH, SHB. Padrão, baixo total T com alto SHB. Alto SHB pode tornar free testosterona baixo despeito de total testosterona razoável. Comuns causas: envelhecimento, hipertireoidismo, certos remédios, exposição a estrógeno. Foque em perda de peso, reduza álcool, otimize saúde tireoide e fígado. Discuta com clinician se medir free T ou biodisponível é ajudado. Padrão, baixo total T com baixo SHB. Comum com obesidade, insulinoresistência e crônica enfermidade. Perda de peso, treinamento de resistência, melhora de sono e redução de inflamação usualmente elevam níveis. Mulheres com altos andrógenos, clinical signs de PCOS, looking at LH, FSH, fasting insulin e ovulatória history. Lifestyle e perda de peso são primeira linha, referência para cuidado targetado quando fertilidade ou complicações metabólicas são preocupantes. Fasting glucose, fasting insulin, HOMA-IR. Padrão, normal fasting glucose, mais elevado fasting insulin ou elevado HOMA-IR. Intervenções, reduza refinados, priorize proteínas, ade resistência training, perca modesto peso, 5 a 10%, melhore sono. Padrão, elevado fasting glucose, mais avançada disglicemia. Trabalhe com clinician para monitoramento mais próximo e possivelmente medicação enquanto implementa mudanças em estilo de vida. Lípidos, LDL, HDL, triglicerídeos, TG, HDL ratio. Padrão, alto-triglicerídeos com baixo HDL. Comum com insulino-resistência. Reduza carboidratos simples e álcool. Inclua ômega 3, atividade e perda de peso. Very alto LDL ou padrões familiares. Discuta cardiologia ou lípidos especialista e considere medicação baseada em risco total. Básica nutrição e marcadores de ferro, ferritina, CBC, vitamina D, B12. Baixo ferritina pode impactar energia, tireoide conversion e exercício tolerância. Se baixo, trate iron deficiency sob supervisão de clinician. Baixo vitamina D é comum e pode afetar humor, imunidade e músculo.
Guia de estilo e instruções para síntese de fala. Início das instruções. Você é um narrador palestrante com voz potente, forte e autoritária. O tom deve ser firme e inabalável. Esta é a conclusão. Aumente a emoção para o nível máximo, mantendo a potência, e termine com uma pausa solene e impactante. Progression Notes. Quando 12 reps ficarem fáceis, adicione pequeno peso ou 1 a 3 reps por set. Se recuperação for pobre, mantenha volume, mas incremente rest ou reduza a frequência para 1 vez por semana por um curto período. Cool down, 3 a 5 minutos. Gentle hamstring stretch, quad stretch, shoulder cross-body stretch. 2 minutos de diafragmática breathing. Inspira 4 ou de 1, exale 6. Recording cues, se você for gravar áudio. Fale steady e breve, estate o exercício, dê 1 a 2 form cues, conte reps ou counts e lembre pessoas a respirar. Encoraje modificações. Use uma cadeira para suporte para agachamentos ou faça incline push-ups em uma parede se necessário.
Feche com uma reafirmação positiva. Nice work! Consistência vence. Use 2 vezes esta semana. Mantenha a proteína alta depois do treino e durma bem. Final Practical Pointers. Pegue um hábito do anterior microplan para tornar não negociável esta semana. Fixe o tempo de acordo, um resistência session ou o ritual de respiração. Traque simples métrica, manhã energia num 1 a 10 ou uma simples medida corporal, cintura ou conta de passos uma vez por semana. Se quiser, eu posso A. Passar por como interpretar um específico laboratório que você tem, você pode digitar os valores que deseja clareza, ou B. Escrever um texto completo, tempado com áudio para a guiada sessão, para que você possa gravá-lo sozinho. Diga-me qual desses quer mais, a análise de um padrão específico ou a guia completa para iniciante com tempo de contos e músicas sugeridas, que eu vou expandir o texto completo.